Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to PyroFalkon's Let's Play Extravaganza, where we are playing Cinders. It's an interactive fiction game you can get by following the links in the video description. When we last left off, Lady Carmosa just ripped into the older sister Gloria, who in turn ripped into Cinders and Sophia, ordering them to go make the dinner that is needed in 2 hours. And Sophia is not too pleased to be working with Cinders, but she has no choice. So let's resume the tale. And remember, whenever there's a story decision, I'm picking the opposite of my first instinct, which is kind of interesting for me since the story's going in a different direction than I would normally take it. Well, it looks like I'm stuck working with you, Cinders. Well, story decision immediately. Okay. So my instinct would be to congratulate her for being sassy. So we're going to choose the other one. Why were you so cruel to Gloria? Why? Don't you hate her too? Well, maybe, but you're her sister. Aren't you supposed to support each other? If only Gloria believed that. No, there's certainly no support here, and it's mostly her fault. She always acts so smug and self-righteous, but there's no trace of her own will or personality in there. She's just trying to copy Mom, even though it's impossible. And of course she takes out all of her frustrations on me. She probably thinks Mom will recognize her more if she keeps degrading me. I have no reason to be kind to her. I understand, but don't you wish that that would change? Living under Carmosa is hard enough already. Wouldn't it be better to band together instead of fighting each other? Maybe, but why does it matter? Why am I even discussing this with you? I must be getting desperate. Of course I want to be on better terms with Gloria, but she drew the line a long time ago. I may not be as clever or as beautiful as Mom or Gloria, but I'm not naive. People don't just change. They remain cruel as long as it benefits them. It's such a sad outlook on life. It must have been really hard for you growing up. Oh, please. I don't need pity, especially not from you. Life is horrid, and no amount of sweet words will change that. Now let's go get dinner ready before we get in trouble. To the kitchen. It'll be nice having someone helping me with dinner for once. Hurry up and take out all the ingredients we're going to need. Why me? Isn't it obvious? I hardly step foot in the place, so naturally I don't know where anything is. Naturally. That doesn't mean you can't help with the preparation, though. I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I? There's no way you can prepare dinner in 2 hours alone. I'll be in just as much trouble as you if it's not done right. Mother isn't forgiving towards anyone. I figured that much out myself. Now, here are all the ingredients. Yuck! This stench is unbelievable! Are they rotting or something? No, this is just how vegetables smell. They do grow in the soil, you know. Sure, but I can't believe you actually live with this odor. I bet sometimes you must feel like a rather large carrot yourself. Or a beetroot, maybe? That's very funny, Sophia. Besides, it wasn't exactly my own choice to move in here. I used to have a proper bedroom before Gloria took it. Of course, how could I forget? Still, you should be grateful. They say that harsh conditions help to build character. You're bound to become a diamond here while poor Gloria softens with every passing hour. Can't you give me a break for once? If that's how it's going to look, I prefer to risk Carmosa's anger and prepare the dinner alone. Oh, fine. Don't be so uptight, sis. One Gloria in this house is too many. So, what was it like before we moved in here with you anyway? My gut reaction is, why do you care? So, we'll tell her. Do you really want to know? Of course. We got to talk about something, or else it'll be awfully dull in here. You can't just admit that you're actually interested in my life? Well, if you must know, the moment we started talking, I decided it's better to imagine you... Whoa. Well, if you must know, the moment we started talking, I decided it's better to imagine you're a character from some bad romance novel. It's much less personal like that. You're such a darling sometimes. I know, right? I may not be the worst or best in the family, but you can't accuse me of lacking creativity. But let's get back to that book you're in. Well, life was different when Father was still alive. More carefree, although I suppose that's how childhood is. Father had a way with kids. I think he was rather a big child himself, always dreaming. I loved it back then. I see. And how do you feel about it now? It was too dreamy, so we'll knock that out. And when I think of my childhood, if I'm not thinking of it through rose-colored glasses, I am thinking of how awesome it was, since I would play Perfect Dark and GoldenEye with my 3 best friends on weekends with Doritos and Mountain Dew. So we'll pick the third option. Well, I loved it back then, but it hardly seems that great anymore. In a way, I feel as if I was a prisoner inside my father's childish dream. A simple fairy tale for a simple princess. I know what you mean. Having an active imagination is one thing, but using it without taste is something else entirely. Should be punishable too, if you ask me. He was very generous with his fantasies, my father. He sheltered me from the outside world, but I missed out on so much because of that. What about your mother? Do you remember her? Unfortunately, she passed away giving birth to me. I still feel guilty about it, even though it doesn't make any sense. Father told me a lot about her, but I don't really know if that's how she was or just an idealized image. Either way, I know that her death had a huge impact on him. I think he was very lonely. Perhaps that's why he preferred to get lost in his dreams rather than to face real life. I'm sure it got worse even after we came into your life, huh? Ew, this onion is making my eyes wet. Yeah, I'm sure it's the onion. Give that to me. I'll chop it. If you rinse the knife first, it shouldn't sting that much. Wait, what? Wait, what? Is that true? If you rinse a knife before cutting an onion, it doesn't make you tear up as much? Is that actually true? Let me know in the comments. As for you, I'd say my life was definitely different after you came in. Oh, just be honest. I know your life has been miserable ever since your father married our lovely mother. Trust me, it's not like Gloria and I wanted this either, and yet here we are. One big, happy family. You can be awfully cynical at times. Oh, you noticed. Fine then. Yes, my life got worse when you showed up. I'm a servant, no, a slave, in my own house. Not like you'd understand. Yes, what could I possibly know about it? Stupid onion. It sounds to me like it's your turn to talk about your life. Well, there's not much to say. That can't be true. It's obvious that a lot happened to you and Gloria. You wouldn't be like this otherwise. Besides, you said you wanted a conversation, so tell me about yourself. Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. When we were children, we lived out in the countryside. Our house wasn't as nice as this one, though. Our father was a military man. He got himself killed in some war, and that left Mother a widow. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be! I hardly even saw the man. When he was around, he was like a complete stranger, not a proper father at all. His death meant nothing to us. What about Carmosa? It must have affected her. Maybe that's why she's the way she is now. Was that supposed to be a joke? Mom didn't care about him any more than we did. Then why did she marry him? Well, why does anyone get married? Okay. Let's see. For many reasons is my real guess. For love would be my backup, so we'll go with for political gains. For riches and status, mainly. It's like signing a contract or making a business partnership. One of the few ways a woman can gain something from these days. Well, I guess you can be pretty smart sometimes. Yes, that's exactly it, isn't it? It's the reason even a worthless mouse like me will eventually find a husband. It's all about status. Carmosa comes from a poor family. They had a title of nobility, but they'd lost most of their riches and splendor. The only way for her to advance up the social ladder was to marry, and she was ambitious. She married an officer who was relatively rich and had a lot of accolades. She probably planned ahead even there. For all I know, she chose a man who would probably die in battle so she could even marry hot. For all I know, she chose a man who would probably die in battle so that she could marry even higher later. How can you say that? That's such a cruel assumption. Cruel? It's not like she killed him. He would have died anyway. She just wanted something more out of life. It's still a cold thing to do. Cold. Sure, it's cold. It's business. I don't see what's wrong with it. Mother's not dumb. She did what she had to do. There's not much room in this world for women with ambitions, so you take what you can get. So back then, was your life as bad as it is now? Worse. What? How so? Well, you weren't around. Listen, if you're not around, who do you think becomes the victim? Mother's always needed a scapegoat, and Gloria would do anything to please that woman. I'm not as pretty, smart, or ambitious as them, so naturally she humiliated me, and Mom didn't disapprove. And now that I'm here, they no longer target you. Is that it? That's exactly it. Mom and Gloria have a new scapegoat, and my life is finally a little better. Oh, I see. So now that you're no longer tormented, you choose to torment me instead. Of course. Nothing personal, but it's either me or you, and I certainly won't be a victim again. Besides, you should be grateful. Didn't your father shield you from the real world too much? Well, now you get to see exactly what it's like. That's the way of all things. You're either the hunter or the prey. And as long as Mother and Gloria focus on you, I can go back to being my own worthless self. Ah, you're a bitch. So that would be my instinct, to yell terrible things at her, so we're going to pick, you're not worthless. Just listen to yourself. You're not worthless, ugly, stupid, or even cruel. My. And what has made you an expert all of a sudden? That's ridiculous. It's obvious the person you hate the most is yourself, but you have no reason to. So you make up all these excuses like you're too stupid or ugly or worthless when you know it's not true, but it's still an easy way out, isn't it? You prefer to convince yourself that you're nothing so that nobody will expect anything more from you. You don't have to change or do anything if you're worthless after all. And you sound like you're trying to convince yourself that you're all-knowing. You're not worthless, Sophia. You know that. It's almost endearing how hard you try to see the good in other people, but you're just being naive. It's not naive at all. I was paying attention when you were talking, and I learned something important. You think you're worthless because you can't measure up to Carmosa or Gloria, but it's the opposite. Carmosa is a woman of strong influence. It's easy to get drawn in and conform to what she wants. The fact that you've resisted means you're stronger than Gloria. It means you're stronger than Carmosa. I'm sorry you had to suffer for it, but that makes you even more admirable. You've really had it rough, and I know that it left a mark on you, but it doesn't make you worthless. You know, I don't need your pity. Ha! Trust me, that's the last thing on my mind. You've still been absolutely horrid to me. But now that I know what happened to you, well, I just wish that I knew you better. Listen to me closely, Cinders, because I'm only going to say this once. I am sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I'm not promising I'll change, but it's better than nothing. Thank you. I'm glad we could speak to each other like this. Maybe this is the start of something better. Don't get your hopes up. Anyway, it looks like dinner is nearly ready, so I'm leaving. Just make sure to hurry. I will. See you later. Wait, Sophia? What? Just remember that sometimes it's easier to get through tough situations if you have someone else on your side. I suppose so. I wonder if I got through to her. I can't believe we actually had that conversation. That was definitely unexpected. I think I need some time to think it over. The meal is nearly done anyway. All that's left to do is to get one of the servants to cook the rest right before it's served. I really need to get out and gather my thoughts. Everyone is busy, so I'm sure no one will notice if I sneak out. Okay. Well, that was an intense conversation, and that filled up the entire episode. We'll pick up from here with Cinders sneaking out of the kitchen in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.